If you're on the hunt for a high protein breakfast meal prep idea that's sweet and not savory, then this easy high protein pancake recipe is for you. Now, as I've shared before, I have spent the last year working with a fitness coach. Just look at me go. All that hard work in the gym, and one of the things I'm working on in my kitchen is getting a baseline of 30 grams of protein on my plate for each meal that I eat. And if you follow me on Instagram, you may recognize this recipe because it's become one of my weekly staples. I always call them my semi-homemade protein pancakes because I use a store-bought pancake mix as the base, and then I'll prep 5 jars to have ready to go for a busy week. So the first thing I do is I grab my jars. I love using these fat, short, 16-ounce mason jars. Not only are they great for prepping these pancakes, but they also work really well for overnight oats. Then into each jar, I'm gonna add 1/3 cup or 40 grams of pancake mix. Now I'm using the Simple Mills almond flour pancake mix, but I assume that if you follow the base recipe that I'm gonna give you, you could probably sub in other pancake mixes as well. I haven't done it myself, but my guess is that this would work with a variety of different brands. Then I'm adding in 2.5 tablespoons, which is 1/2 scoop or 13 grams of a vanilla whey protein powder. Now, personally, I prefer the flavor and the texture of whey proteins. I usually look for good high quality brands like the one I'm using here today, Keon, but you could also use a plant-based protein if you prefer. There's actually a lot of good protein powders out on the market today, and I will link to a handful of my favorites, both whey and plant-based, down in the description box below if you need some recommendations. Then I've got 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, which is warm and cozy and makes everything more delicious. And 1/8 teaspoon of baking soda. Now you might be tempted to skip this, but it's actually a really important ingredient because this is what's gonna help your pancakes become nice and light and fluffy. And then the final ingredient, I like to add 2 to 3 grams of a fiber powder. Now, this is 100% optional. You don't have to do it, but I find it's a really easy way to up my fiber intake for the day, and it helps to make the pancakes a little bit more satiating. Now, another side note, if you want a protein pancake that's made more from scratch, make sure that you check out my high protein cottage cheese pancake recipe as well, because that's another great option for anybody looking for a sweeter, high protein breakfast. Then I just repeat this with however many jars I'm prepping for the week, which is usually 5. And then I give them a little shake, and you can store these in a cool, dry place until you're ready to use them. And just having them prepped and ready to go like this is a real time saver throughout the week, because then when the morning comes and I'm ready to make my breakfast, all I need to do is grab one of the jars, and then I pour in 90 grams, which is 1/3 cup of liquid egg whites. Now, you all know I am a big fan of buying my egg whites pre-separated. This is because I use them in a lot of different recipes. I put them in my oatmeal. I make egg white muffin cups. We're gonna use them in these pancakes. It's a great way to boost the protein in any recipe that you're using. Now, if you do not want to use egg whites, you can of course use the whole egg as well. Egg yolks are super nutritious, and the only reason I'm not using them in this recipe is because I'm looking for higher protein, and I get a lot more protein from the egg whites than you do the yolks. But again, if you want to do a whole egg, you can do that. You're just going to want to do 1 whole egg with an additional 2 to 3 tablespoons of whatever type of milk you prefer. Then I'm just gonna stir this all together. I usually start with a spoon, and I get in there, make sure to get any dry powder out from the bottom, and then I swap out my milk frother because this is a fantastic whisker as well, and it gets everything mixed together really perfectly. To cook the pancakes, I'm just going to preheat an 8-inch nonstick skillet over a medium-low heat. Coat the pan with a little bit of cooking spray, and then once that pan is hot, you're just gonna pour the batter into the pan, and then you're gonna let it cook for 2 to 3 minutes on the first side. You're gonna know that it's getting ready to flip because you're gonna see it start to set up, and a bunch of little tiny bubbles are gonna form over the top of the pancake. Then you're just gonna take your spatula, get underneath there, and then you gotta flip it like a boss. You just gotta get under there, don't second thought it, don't hesitate, get under there and flip, and let it go for another minute or so on the opposite side. side. You're gonna see it will be golden brown, and you're gonna just watch it literally begin to fluff up in the pan. Now, to serve these pancakes, I love to drizzle some PB Fit over the top, which is basically just a dehydrated peanut butter powder. So it tastes very similar to peanut butter. It's just a little bit lower in fat. If you prefer, you could do a regular nut butter. That would work as well. And then, of course, some fresh berries. And if you had it, maple syrup would also be delightful. It's so good. It's slightly sweet. It's nice and light and fluffy. And I just love that I can enjoy a big fat pancake like this and still stay aligned with my personal health and fitness goals. It's a win-win. Now, for those who are curious, each pancake packs in 24 grams of protein, 25 grams of carbohydrates, and 8 grams of fat. And if you wanted to boost this meal up to 30 grams of protein, I will often serve it with some Canadian bacon or some hard-boiled egg whites on the side, just as an easy way to hit that 30 grams. But again, you want to make it work for you and whatever you're working on with your own dietary and nutritional goals. Now, if you enjoy easy, healthy recipes just like this, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you know whenever we are posting new recipe videos. And I will also deliver these recipes straight to your inbox should you desire. Just go down to the description box below and sign up for my weekly newsletter. It's absolutely free, and instead of you having to come look for me and my recipes, I will bring them straight to you. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Dani Spies, and I'll see you back here next time with some more clean and deliciousness. Cheers! Now, if you are curious, now for those that are, now for anybody who's curious, each pancake's packs, ready?